Well, the time is just gone 9:40 a.m. as we continue with our Friday edition of News and Views this morning. Now, this is quite interesting because this is a personal piece written by Khadija Mahida, a Muslimah seeking understanding and asking the question, is it truly halal if it supports oppression? And again, a call for ethical oversight in certification. And we're going to delve into this piece that has been written by Khadija. Khadija, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Juma Mubarak to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam, Uncle Inayat. Juma Mubarak to you and the entire team. Jazakallah for having me this morning.
Yes, when I was actually given this piece that you had written, I actually found it very, very interesting. And again, obviously directed at the halal certification authorities in South Africa, where you've expressed a number of concerns. And let's just try and understand your thinking behind writing this piece and some of the concerns that you have.
Mhm. So my thought process behind this came into being, and when we looked at it, it's all about not just about Palestine, but every war-torn country. Where are we heading at as Muslims? How are we trading as Muslim businessmen? What is it that we are looking for? And what does the future look like for that of our progeny and the generations to come? And if we don't start speaking out or questioning what is happening right now, how do we change the mindsets? I mean, we're living in a Western country. It's not an Islamic country. And at the end of the day, at the same time, my thought process is that we're all about boycott the X, Y, and Z. But how about we, as our Muslim authorities, sit down and properly formalize an agreement or an addendum to say if you are stocking a Zionist product, sorry, we cannot be giving you that authority of our halal certification on your door. The same way they would do it if alcohol would be served, or would there be a casino next door to the entity, and even though it's a Muslim-owned business, they wouldn't want to do it. And then when you speak to such Muslim businesses that are in theme parks, etc., and you ask them where's the stamp. Oh no, because we here or we in such an area, or because we are Muslim and my business partner is non-Muslim and they want alcohol in here, but the entire kitchen is halal. They would refuse to certify us. In the like-minded approach, what about our spiritual and moral findings? What about our own spirituality? Because coming out of the Imam Umar Suleiman show, a question was posed to Imam about that of Muslim businessmen that have products like Coca-Cola and Pepsi on their shelves and selling that out. And where does it leave us? And he said the mindset has to change. And these are leaders, these are our ulama, and they're leading us on a daily basis. And I felt it was a fair question to be asking, to say that, hey, are you guys scholars of dollars? Or are you guys really out there to protect us as the ummah, to say what is halal and what is haram? And halal and haram doesn't just stop with what goes into our mouths. It's everything that we see, hear, do, speak, feel. It's every part of our senses, our mind, and that of our spirituality. So I think a lot of that comes down back to that of, as much as you have many of the activists that but that are constantly trying to advocate pureness in the way we deal in what we do, I think nobody or many must have done so, but I haven't seen any. And I thought it's time to write to them and say, where are we and where are we going to?
Yes, and I think what is important is this is directed to the custodians of what you say in your piece, the halal standard in South Africa. And I actually found this quite coincidental, where your surname is Mahida, but and you quoted an ayat from Surah Al Ma'idah, where you're talking about cooperating in righteousness and piety, and let us not cooperate in sin and aggression. And this is exactly what the message that you are actually trying to drive home as well, in terms of circulation of products from these companies that are complicit in the oppression and the aggression against the people of Palestine. And again, are we complicit in supporting that aggression?
That's just it, Uncle Inayat. I mean, I feel we are complicit. At the end of the day, for example, we're saying don't eat samba. but you have sent a stamp on Simba products, or you saying don't do Cadbury's or don't do Nestle or don't do that. And I'm finding it that we're living in times where there are so many entrepreneurs, Muslim or not, that can provide us in South Africa with an alternative. So why must you guys, as the big boys or businessmen, continue to be on the drive of providing a, a space to that of Zionist products? Why is it that we have to be completely, we sit there and we say, and we go out for the marches, we go out for the boycotts, we do everything uh, as individuals to raise our voices. But where's our ulama right now? I mean, our imams in the masjids are doing a fantastic job. I hear it every week in our masjid that please boycott, please stop drinking this. This is blood money. This is blood money. I mean, don't take it home. Don't have it in your business. It's blood money. And I think it delves on me in the fact that as much as you're trying to change, and if each individual does that, it makes a world of difference. It gives us an opportunity to say, um, I've done my part, but what have I done further? And to date, I've only had one scholar respond to me and say, Bismillah, go for it. It's a beautiful article. Have a sit down with these alims or ulama around the table and see what they have to say. And I think it's important because we sit here and we quick to say that, for example, oh, Sena only wants money and Sena would want this and Sena would want that. But at the same time, Sena, what are you doing to remove yourself from a Zionist entity? We as Muslims are not supposed to be supporting it. Why is your stem still on Simba? Why is your stem still on so many other products? How are you supporting the movements that our individual uh, campaigns are running? That of BDS. Have you sat down with BDS? Have you said to BDS, let's work in collaboration? Let's be a jointed effort in a team. You know what? At the end of the day, what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your kids? What are you feeding your families? And we sit here as a Muslim Ummah in South Africa relying on you to make sure that you surpass a product procedure a process in order for us to have the best for our households. And today it takes me back to the time of I'm sorry. At the end of the day, if I know the businessman and the businessman is halal and they know their process and they follow due diligence, there's no alcohol there or anything else, and you as a Muslim authority would not want to issue him a stamp of approval and because he cannot afford you, I will still eat it because you becoming complicit. And that's the bottom line. As the authorities, you are becoming complicit. It's so beautiful. We all have the greatest of imams. We have Sheikh Bilal Assad, we have Imam Umar Suleiman. We bring through Palestinian journalists. We do business with Palestinians. We do business with so many people that are educated in Iman, in Islam, in everything that is so pure. But us as ourselves have this mask on when we meet them and when we visit them, but we're not telling them the truth. And the truth is, our Muslim authorities are complicit. Remove your stems. Work with the BDS coalition. Work with those. We have the PSA. We have so many bodies that are there. We have Social Intifada. We have PSA. We have Africa for Palestine. Sit down around the table with all these humanitarian activists and say, what is your plight? What do you need? How do we stop Coca Cola? How do we bring down sales? How do we stop Pepsi? There are so many local brands that can be supported. Why can't we do that? I mean, as recent as what was it, 2 weeks ago, Pick and Pay Norwood, that is so Pick and Pay is a Zionist entity. At the end of the day, when a few humanitarian activists got up and stood up and said, we will not allow this, they removed their flags. They did what was necessary to respect us. I'm not saying, um, you know what, don't endorse a Muslim entity. I'm just saying, if I'm eating a halal piece of chicken, but having the opportunity to buy a Coca-Cola, does that make my entire meal halal or haram?
Mm. I think you raised some very, very critical issues, some very, very important questions. And Khadija, it's not that the Muslim community is short of resources. The Muslim community is not short of money. The Muslim community is not short of expertise in providing that alternative. And I think this is what you are saying, and the gist of, and I think the main thrust of what you are saying is it's about time that we go back to the drawing board, we review where we are as halal authorities in South Africa, and again, to review, make a point of understanding what is truly playing out there in the business world, who is benefiting, who is enjoying the privileges of financial benefits as well, but also at the same time to review their policies with regard to the certification process.
100%. In that sense, it also brings it back down to that of, like you're saying, we are not short of it as a Muslim community. But as a South African community, we're not short when it comes to that of the expertise, like, and the talent and the skills. We have it within us. If you look at us right now, I would say that over 80% of South Africans are all for Palestine. And for me, at the end of the day, that's a big help. Why don't we all work together in collaboration, break down our silos, and bring back business the way it should be done? Why are we supporting a Zionist entity? How is it that in Turkey, the government did not close down McDonald's, neither did they close down Starbucks? It was the communities themselves that together and businessmen that took the decision to say no more is no more. How much more blood do we need to have on our hands, and how much more Palestinians need to die in order for us to have a wake up call? Our ulama that sit at Sena, MJC, ICSA, NIHT going to be silent for the rest of their lives? How do they plan to face Allah on the day of Qiyamah when they have to answer for this? How do they plan to stand in front of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who fought vigorously in order to us to practice Islam freely? And you sit there in your kurta and and with your big dirties and everything, and you go about propagating that everything halal haram. But when we ask for simple answers from you, you cannot respond to us. We deserve that much as a Muslim ummah. We deserve that much as a community. And I'm not picking about how you dress, and I'm not picking about what you wear and how you are. But what about a pure heart? What about a pure heart? Because at the end of the day, for me, I feel I'm having a dirty heart in clean clothes. I rather have a clean heart in dirty clothes, but at the end of the day, I know I'm true to Allah. It's for His pleasure, and at the end of the day, what we do is changing the way we are being seen by the younger generation. And if we don't do so and we don't ask the questions, what is going to happen tomorrow? We are already a lost ummah. We are already losing the plot of what Islam is all about. Islam is about kindness and love, understanding, compassion. Islam isn't, yes, our five daily salah is there. We got our five pillars of Islam. But at the end of the day, Islam is how you treat the next human being. And how we are treating the Palestinians right now as businessmen, I would believe that it would take a lot of gut for any Muslim businessman to say, I stop Coca Cola right now. And these are topics I have with my family around the table as well. I mean, a lot of them are in business, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is wrong, and what you're doing is wrong, and I don't believe in this, and I don't believe you shopping there. And why are you still buying that? And at the end of the day, you gotta voice yourself in order for them to understand. How many more kids need to be blown off buildings? Ulama, we are asking you, we are not begging you. We are asking you for a dialect. We are asking you to have a dialogue with us. We are asking you to sit around the table with us and say, come together. What are the alternatives? What is it that you can support with, and what is it that you can't support with? It's not about being scholars of dollars. It's about that of the ummah and the plight of the ummah. And as the plight of the ummah right now, we are sitting at times where we are not even worried about how we are earning our rosy, and that's the scariest part, because then we want to say there's no barakah in time, there's no barakah in risk, there's no barakah in rosy. But at the end of the day, when the man next door, your neighbor, comes to you for a slice of bread you don't have for him, but your cupboard can be full of groceries, where are we as a Muslim ummah? Where are we in our unity? Where are we standing together, that we have to call on leaders outside our ulama to ask these questions. And when the leaders as that of Bilal, of sorry, as that of Imam Umar Suleiman has to turn around and say it's blood money, and this mindset needs to stop. And if our ulama that are sitting on these boards cannot change it, then you know what? For how many years have you held this held this ruling? For how many years have you sat in that seat? Is it not maybe about time you go and resign and retire and give the next person who has their blinkers off to go forward? How is it that we cannot do that? Why is it that we are still sitting with scholars that were there way before I was born? I mean, at the time of day, if you are not willing to change your ways or your process, then I think step down and give it to those scholars that are understanding where we're coming from. Because we're not fighting a cause. We're fighting for our deen. We're fighting for Islam. We're fighting for the day of Qiyamah. When we're standing before Allah and saying, Allah asking you, what did you do for the plight of the Palestinians? What are you as a ulama going to answer to that? And that's a question that I go to.
Well, I think, we're going to leave it at that question. In fact, I know that, we seek answers to those questions as well. But Khadija, unfortunately, time, there's just a lot more that I'm sure you can unpack on this topic. But inshallah, we will obviously follow developments, and it'll be interesting to see also the type of response you get to this piece that you have written. But for now, Jazakallah khairan so much for your time. And obviously, I hear that passion in your voice and that urgency in your voice as well in terms of raising these questions. And these are very, very important questions that we need to introspect, we need to sit back, we need to think about, and more importantly, we need to come up with the answers. But for now, have yourself a great Jummah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, and the same for you. Assalamu alaikum.
Khadija Mahida, a Muslimah just seeking understanding and asking some hard questions, but critical, very, very important questions. And I'm hoping that we can get answers to these questions. I know we are running a bit late, but next up, we are talking about the book launch of Echoes of Freedom, the story of Imam Hassan Solomon.